Hey guys, it's Nikki with Homeschool Knockouts. Today we are reviewing math curriculum, Saxon Math 3 for third graders. You'll want to watch this video. Let's go. All right, guys. So Saxon Math. Now, Saxon Math is a well-established and popular math curriculum in the homeschool market. It is well known for its incremental approach to teaching mathematical concepts. So this method involves teaching concepts in small, manageable chunks and then revisiting those topics over time for reinforcement. And this practice helps in retaining and mastering these skills over time. Now, Saxon math structure is more traditional, meaning it's going to lean toward memorization of rules and facts rather than hands-on conceptual approaches, all right, or an orientation, if you will. Saxon math covers grades kindergarten through 12th grade, and it is secular, so not religious at all. Now, there are some science and social studies connections kind of woven throughout the curriculum, but everything is secular in content. Saxon Math 3 also uses simulations and games to help introduce new concepts to your students. That's our intro. Let's get to the next topic. Target audience. Target audience. So this curriculum, Math 3, is specifically designed for third graders or, typically ages 8 to 9. Sorry for the glare, guys. And it's well suited for students who thrive with structure and repetition. There's a lot of repetition, as you'll see in the flip through. Now, this program can accommodate, many abilities of students, but it's especially beneficial for those students who need constant reinforcement and students who have low working memory, meaning they can't hold a lot of information for a long period of time. So the small incremental steps to teaching is perfect for them because it's small, manageable sizes for them, for their brains to hold on to. Content overview. Each day's lesson begins with the meeting, and that's where parents direct discussion and activity related to time, temperature, money, counting patterns, problem solving. Basically, it's your rug time. If for those of you familiar with public school, you had rug time. The kids sat on the rug, and the teacher had all the pockets with the calendar, the date, the time, all that kind of stuff. That's what you're doing here, and that starts before every lesson all the way from lesson 1 to lesson 140. After the meeting, a new concept is introduced, usually involving manipulatives, and then there is a slight review of previous concepts that were taught. Now, the teacher's edition contains all the information to teach the entire course through 140 scripted lessons. Now, these lessons include child-friendly language. It's really easy for you. Most of the language starts with verbs, active verbs to help you really get straight to the point to your child. It's not long or wordy. The sentences, the scripting is really short and straight to the point. Each lesson is made up of 4 parts, okay? Number 1 is the meeting. Number 2 is the lesson. Number 3 is the class practice. And then number 4 is the written work. So each lesson has those four components. Now, after every 5th lesson, there is a written assessment, okay? And then every 10th lesson will be your oral assessment. So you see how that incremental review and spiral approach, how it just constantly goes back to previously taught concepts. So that's just a quick little breakdown. Let's move on. Materials needed. Okay. So what do you need to teach this program? So let me show you what you need and what you don't need, in my humble opinion. So what you do need is the teacher handbook. This is your Bible. You cannot teach Saxon math without this, y'all. You need this book, okay? This has all the scripting in it, and it has all the lessons and the instructions to teach for the student book. So you need this. This is the material that you need, the teacher book. And then you need the student workbook. You have 2 of them. You have a part 1 and part 2. You need these 2 books, okay? These are your student workbooks, part 1 and part 2. Now, what is optional are the flashcards. Okay? You have multiplication flashcards, addition flashcards, subtraction flashcards, and if I can find it, division flashcards. Okay, so you have those 4 basic operations as flashcards. Now, the meeting book is optional. I don't have it. Some parents feel they can definitely do without it, and some people like it. Now, the program also recommends some manipulatives to use. I'm a big proponent of manipulatives for hands-on learning. I'll show you some pictures here of what you can get for your child, but they include geoboards, color tiles, linking cubes, teddy bear counters, dominoes, a clock, a balance scale, a ruler, and things like that. So some of your basic manipulatives that you'll see through a K through 5 education, okay? Again, they are not required, but they really make learning a lot easier and fun for your child. Now, those are all the materials that are needed and or optional. Let's move on. Price. What is this going to cost you? Now, you can see here, I have all the prices for the program, whether you buy the books individually or if you buy them as a bundle, okay? So at the time of this video, which is February 2024, you could buy the entire kit for $150. Or look at used places first before you buy new. So let's test drive this curriculum through a flip through and see what it's all about. Now, while I'm flipping through, I'm also going to give you some more information, sprinkled throughout. So get your pens and paper ready, y'all. Okay, so we have Saxon Math 3 in our hot little hands. Now let's open the hood. Okay, I like to look at all the pages before the actual content begins. Here you have your home study overview, okay? And it's just giving you just some suggestions on how you can start your day when you're teaching this and how best to use the workbook and the teacher manual and the meeting, okay? The meeting book, which we don't have. And then on the back side of the page, you'll have some suggested manipulative materials to use in the lessons, okay? So, table of contents. So there are 140 lessons, 140. I'm just going to show you each page and then you can pause it and look at them as you go along. But as you look at the contents, you'll start to see how a lot of the math concepts tend to repeat, okay? So I'll just do close-ups of these. Okay, folks, I really messed up with the editing of this video, so I left out the teacher involvement benefits and drawbacks and additional resources. So I'm going to do a voiceover and talk about those items, those components during this flip through. So not right now. I'm about to finish going through the table of contents in the beginning of the book, but just hang in there. In like a couple of minutes, I will be talking about all of the. Now, after the table of contents, you'll have your list of materials for each lesson. So that just helps you out with your prep work, okay? So here are your list of materials for all 140 lessons. I have to enunciate better, y'all. Okay, just so you see. Now, we'll look at lesson 1 in a second, but first for lesson 1, it's going to tell you, hey, bring your meeting book, your meeting strip, your demonstration clock, and your outdoor thermometer, okay? So this is, if you're doing, say, 5 lessons in a week, you can look here and see all other things that you're going to need. Your fact cards, which are the tan colored ones, small plastic bag for your fact cards, your clocks, okay, etc. You see for lesson 1, it says meeting strip, okay? So we do have that at the beginning of the book. And you see you have multiple copies and you can cut them along the dotted lines. So now we have lesson 1 in front of us. I'm going to break lesson 1 down and then I'm just going to flip through all of this and then I'll bring in the student book, flip through, and then I'll show you a lesson in action, okay? So let's go. So telling time to the hour. Now, remember, there are 4 components to this curriculum. You have the meeting, the lesson, the classwork, and then the written practice, okay? So the shaded square is just for you, okay? So this is your lesson preparation. It's going to tell you the materials that you need, what to do the night before, or in the morning, or in parentheses, 5 minutes before the lesson begins, depending on your approach to teaching. But all the stuff you need is right here in this box. This is just for you. Now, once you've done that work, now you're meeting with your kid, okay? And it's the meeting right here. Now, everything that is bolded is what you are saying to your kid, okay? Or everything in quotations. And then all the bullet points will be the action that you're doing, okay? You know, showing your child something or commanding them to do this or grab that, okay? And that will continue. Okay, so this is all your scripting. Now, with the meeting is comprised for all the meetings throughout the book of the calendar, number of the day, temperature, today's count, today's pattern, and then problem of the day. If you are familiar with public school, you would know that all of this is what would be considered rug time in a classroom, okay? You just go through this every day. Now, after you've gone through the meeting, now you're going to do the lesson, which is telling time to the hour. Remember, the bolded is what you were saying, and then the bullet points, that's the action that you need to do with your child, okay? And you'll notice that most of it will start with a verb, you know, show, write, repeat, ask, okay? And that's lesson 1. So let's do a quick flip through. I am not going to go through all of these lessons. I've already been turning the pages. I'm just going to hit a couple of lessons throughout the book because they're really all the same. So let's talk about the pros or the benefits of this program. Now, this course provides ample review of concepts that are previously taught. We talked about the spiral review. There is a lot of spiral review. There's also an emphasis on computation and application of skills, which is great when your child is doing standardized testing, and it's great for retention of concepts that they're learning. There are also great supplementary video options, which I'll talk about in the additional resources portion. Let's see. And it's very incremental approach that I told you about. So children who have low working memory, they can hang in with this program without feeling overwhelmed with all of the information coming in. So those are the pros. Cons, there were 30 daily practice problems, which may overwhelm some students, and explanations in the textbook, they could be a little dry. That's why the additional resources do come into play. Also, another con is sometimes, with the student book, the kids don't want to keep flipping up and down or, with the book. So that could be a con. At the end of each lesson, as you get further along in the book, you'll sometimes have a master sheet for you to print out. You'll have some kind of assessment, okay? This one is oral. This one is not, okay? And this is also in the student workbook, the lesson. So in this case, this is an assessment, but normally it would just be the corresponding workbook page in the student book. Okay, so speaking of student book, let's go to the student book. Okay, so I have book 1 right here. And we're just going to flip through here. Okay, again, you have a little bit of direction. Now remember, Saxon Math was made for the classroom, the school classroom. So you'll see things like this. Okay, you don't have 20 kids in your house, I don't think. All right, so we'll just fast forward through this. Okay. So the first thing you'll see are all or most of the oral assessment recording forms. Okay. And then you'll have some more written assessment pages. Okay, and then it's talking to you now as the parent what you can do with this program with your child. So it's just like another kind of teacher preparation thing or teacher notes, okay? Now, lesson 2A, that's your first lesson, right? Okay, so just to compare that with what's in the teacher book, You have your teacher preparation stuff, the meeting, or, you know, quote unquote, the rug time that you're going to have, okay? And then you get into your lesson with all this scripting, okay? Once you have gone over that, and that's really like any manipulatives that you are using with your child, is going to happen right here. Now you're on to the written practice. So it says give your child worksheet 2A, 2B, which is this right here, okay? Now listen, it says side A is completed after the lesson and side B is completed later in the day, okay? So this is so incremental, okay? Very, very incremental, okay? Now here's the your scripting, okay? And you let your child do the work, okay? So this is what this looks like. That's 2A. And this, and now we have 2B. And for the discerning eye, you will notice that the repetition is real. You'll see number 3 is the clock. Number 5 through 8 are the number patterns. That's 2A. Look at 2B. The number 3 question, number 3 problem is the clock. And the numbers 5 through 8 are the number patterns, okay? So really it's just taking this worksheet and just duplicating it with different numbers, okay? So it's really a lot of repetition, okay? I just wanted you to notice that. So let's just flip through the book, okay? You'll start to see some masters in here. Your masters are in the student book. I'm not going to show you the back side because the back side is just like the front side. So additional resources. Saxon has 3 teaching and solution videos. Now the first 2 options are Dive teaching CDs and Saxon teacher CDs. Now these 2 options are only whiteboard lessons. Now they have daily practice problems, solutions, and test solutions, and that's the extent of that. Now the third option is Nicole, the math lady, video streaming. Now her website, she has video lessons of all the lessons in the book, and she's actually on camera. She explains all the lessons. She has a very engaging voice, and she now has a new option where she is actually grading your students' work and giving instant feedback on the answers as they do her work. Now she's very engaging. I think she either taught at Stanford or she went to Stanford. Very highly intelligent teacher. This is a great option. Here's some of the science and social studies that are woven throughout. You see here. And there'll be some maps in here too. All right, let's go to book 2, student workbook 2. I want you to see some of the science and social studies connections in here. All right, so here are some of your masters, okay? So these are just the sheets that you're gonna make copies of, that you keep clean forever, and you just make copies of this to give to your student. So that's your master. We're skipping around. We are halfway through the second student book. I was hoping to see more of the social studies and science stuff, because they do have like some map work kind of in here. All right, we're almost toward the end of the book. Now, I'm not always showing the back side because the back side is usually very similar to the front. See? See how similar they are? So if you see the first page, you've seen the second page. And remember, this is toward the end of the second book. So this is almost toward the end of your school year. And the last lesson, well, that's an assessment, but it's the last thing your child's doing in this book. There you go. Last problem. And then you have all of your flashcards, your basic flashcards. You can make your own, or you can just buy them, okay? Now, teacher involvement. Y'all, this program is teacher intensive simply because you have a script to use and there are manipulatives, which are optional, but it really helps to move the lesson along. But it is high teacher involvement, so keep that in mind. So that's it. I don't have the meeting book. I'll show you pictures of it, but this is all you need to get going to teach your child math, okay? This is what you need right here, okay? I hope this helps. And there you have it. That is our review for Saxon Math 3. And so I hope that was of some value to you. If you like this, please put a like, share, and subscribe. You know, it helps me in these YouTube streets, but it also helps you because that lets me know that you want more videos like this and I can deliver that for you. So, love you. See you soon.